Well, hello everyone. Thanks for coming in tonight. It's Tuesday Trucker Talk. Tonight we're going to have a special guest. He's running a little bit behind. He contacted me right before the show. He got held up all day getting loaded and currently in Nashville traffic and wanted to get out of Nashville and then he'll be coming on the show. So we'll have a little bit of free time while we're waiting for him to get here. Um, I can kind of tell you about the week, what's been going on. You may notice a slight vibration, maybe even hear some background noise. My APU went out on my truck this week, so I am having to idle. It's around 100 degrees here. I'm right outside of Dallas, Texas, or actually Fort Worth. I consider them the same town. DFW area. I'm over here by Weatherford. Got to go to Cleburne for in the morning. And I'm just doing this video real quick. First in the chat today was Tim Back. For once, it was not Asphalt Jungle, who's been the reigning champion for several weeks. Looks like, man, Tim got in here about 1 minute after the notification went out. So we'll have to start calling him Fast Fingers Tim. And he was even shocked that he was first. He said Jungle Trucker and then later corrected himself as Asphalt Jungle was who he was referring to. He's usually the first one in here. Joe said, no, I'm first. Joe was a close second. I mentioned in the comments that I'm having technical Tuesday. Verizon and AT&T are terrible signal. Maybe the towers are full. So I'm using T-Mobile tonight, and hopefully we'll get through the show without any problems. That's never happened before. Over/under is 100. We all lose to the house. The house always wins. Adam's with us tonight. He's on the tractor. He's about 3 days from cutting corn. Adam, you might remember, was on the very first live we did. He was a law enforcement officer, and he left law enforcement to go to farming. So it's great that he still hangs around, and we appreciate him being here. I asked him if he was missing law enforcement, and he said sometimes. I mentioned to him farming's probably a lot safer. He said, yeah, it is, but the harvest is here, so I can relax when it's cold out. Yeah, that's true. One thing about being in law enforcement or a first responder, you're pretty much guaranteed to work every holiday, or at least that's my perception of it. And then Adam said he can't miss one of the best YouTubers, so he'll be leaving me here in a minute to go watch one of the best YouTubers. I gave him a hard time about that. And he said, well, you see, they can wait till after your show. There you go. And my good friend Gary Cook is here. He's driving and listening. I appreciate you being here, my friend. And Travis Jones is here, checking in from Springfield, Illinois, land of good old Abe Lincoln. Yeah, a very interesting story. If you ever get a chance to read any books about Abraham Lincoln, there's a whole nother side to him that the history books don't necessarily tell. He overcame a lot in his life. You could call him a lot of things, but you couldn't call him a quitter, or couldn't say that he's not ambitious. Joe Bananas gives me the peace sign. Thank you, my friend. Oh, no way. My other good friend, Robbie Ross, is going through Weatherford now. So you're real close to where I'm at. My cousin lives in Weatherford. There you go. I've got a friend that is a motorcycle cop here in Weatherford. I say friend, I went to high school with him. I hadn't talked to him in several years, but I'll dang sure name throw if I get pulled over by the cops around here. I'm at home till next Tuesday after being out a little over a month. When I first read that, I thought it was going to say you'd been out a little over a week. Ah, Joe Bananas was the first one to give us a thumbs up. That's very important. You guys, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Share it on your social media platforms. And make sure you're subscribed. That way you get a notification when these videos come out. Also, if you look in the description of this video, there's a lot of other great information how to get a headset like this. There'll be John Toohey's contact information if you want to contact him. How to get that ES Advantage fuel card that I save so much money with. Or how to save $10 on some Mudflap fuel. That's all there. I hope you'll take a few minutes to check it out. Also, we got the website, truckertodd.net. You can go there. You can contact me through that. And it's got a lot of links you can click to call different people I associate with and things like that. Joe Bananas laughing it up. Joe, you can be first because it's not that important. Just glad everyone is here to support my buddy, Trucker Todd. Joe says, it's all good. I'm just having fun. Tim's smiling and thumbs upping. Fate Trucking is here, evening from out on the road somewhere. He's out on the road somewhere, going somewhere else. Well, thank you for being here, my friend. Hey, No Fear is here. That even rhymes. No Fear is here. Cool. So we may come up with a wall of shame pretty soon and put it on the website or something. Hadn't found out how I want to do that yet. But I've got a couple of companies that have really burned me lately, and they're putting me in a bind. One of them is Samsung. You know, over a week ago, they decided they were unable to warranty repair my phone, and they were supposed to be sending me a check for almost $2,300, which had me really impressed with them, honestly. I used the phone almost a year. They were going to totally refund me what I'd paid for the phone, and they lost their paperwork. So evidently one department says, yeah, we're going to refund you, and then they send it to another department, and the other department actually disperses the funds. Evidently, they lost the paperwork. You and I both know there's no paperwork. It's probably done by email. Heck, they're probably in the same building. I'm willing to bet that it's more that they've had several device issues and they're just kind of backed up. They're shorthanded like everybody else is right now. So waiting to see what's going to happen with Samsung. Also, the people that I got my truck from, you might notice they're not in the description no more. I'm not mentioning them in my videos no more. They still have not paid me for some referral work I did for them. They owe me $1,000. And so that's an ongoing deal. They told me last week they were going to get in contact with me early this week. I texted them this morning, still haven't heard nothing back. It took them 2 months to reimburse me for a starter they said they was going to pay for. So I don't know if they're slow or incompetent or dishonest or all three, but I'm not going to recommend them at least until this is resolved, and probably ever. So they're a second one that I might consider for the wall of shame. And the third one is one that I hadn't mentioned till now, and that would be Trucker CFO. That's right, my accountant. And he also owes me some money. I prepaid for my S Corp, and he never did it. He started it but never finished it, and said he was going to wait till the end of the year and see if I needed it or not. And I said, well, go ahead and refund me that money then. And if we need it at the end of the year, I'll go ahead and pay it at that time. No need you sitting on my money for 6 months. And he says, well, he finally answered me like 2 or 3 weeks later. Oh, well, you never paid that. I said, if I hadn't paid it, why did you start working on it? Do you normally start working on stuff you hadn't been paid for yet? And of course, I didn't get an answer to that. Um, and there's some other stuff there. Um, Realistically, he probably owes me somewhere around $2,500. And we're never going to see a penny of that. So I've instructed him to continue doing my taxes for the rest of this year, and then I'm looking at other options at the end of the year. A real good friend of mine suggested just doing it myself with QuickBooks or something like that, and I'm considering that option as well as some other options. But right now I'm like the rest of you. I got all these bill collectors calling me, and I can't pay them because the people that owe me won't pay me. But these bill collectors, they can charge late fees and penalties and all of that. And I can't charge late fees and penalties on all these people that owe me money. So it's a little bit frustrating. I've been dealing with a lot of that today, but I don't want this to be a negative show. I want us to stay up because here in just a little bit, probably in another 15 or 20 minutes, we'll have John Toohey on here, and it's going to be a fun interview with a good friend of mine that you're not going to want to miss. I know that guy real well. I've met his wife. I've met his son, Jonathan, and they're just really good people. I've been invited to go to his house at some point, and he's got a lot of land out in Kentucky, and he's invited me to do some deer hunting. And I think it's deer. I'm not sure what we're going to be hunting, but we're going to try to line our schedules up later where we can do that. And it should be a good time. I like hanging out with him. I've met him in person a couple of times, and I've met his wife and son once, and they're great people. Some of you in here know him. He's a moderator and a good guy. So, like I say, he'll be on here shortly, and you won't want to miss that. Kind of find out how we met. He started off doing a lease purchase, and now he's working for a company driver as a company driver. So, for those of you that maybe are thinking about a company driving opportunity, he can share his information and his experience with you as well. All right, let's see what else we got here. Roger says, hello from Cynthiana, Kentucky, sitting on the deck, just got done eating supper. Philly's off the griddle. Got done early today. Hope all is well. Yes, sir. Thank you for being here. I'm sick of being in the heat. I don't know if you can notice, my face is pretty burnt. Everywhere I go, it's been over 100, and I'm working my way. I've got that load that delivers early tomorrow morning in Cleburne, and then I'm going and picking up a load in Grand Prairie going to Amarillo, and then I'm going to Lubbock for a doctor's appointment on Friday, and then I'm going right back to work as quick as I can. It'll be Labor Day weekend, so I hate driving on Labor Day weekend because it's not a really safe time. But if I can find a load, I need to be working in this economy. Does the ES Advantage fuel card work at Quick Trip? Yeah, it'll work anywhere that EFS is accepted. They got an app you can download, and it'll tell you where the cheapest places are with the card. But you can go anywhere that EFS is accepted. Put Cassius King on the wall of shame. He'd be on the wall of honor. I like that guy. Got the Fold 5. I have the Fold 4, and that's the one that Samsung is dragging their feet on paying me. And we're going on a month now. They kept it a couple of weeks and tried to fix it and said they couldn't get parts. And now we're going on a couple of weeks where they're trying to pay me. I just wish that I could do bill collectors the way that they're doing me right now. I wish I could say, I'll pay you in the next 30 days. Or, you know what I mean? And it's crazy right now. I'll tell you, I was thinking about this while I was driving. Somebody is sitting on a lot of money because there's a lot of people not getting paid right now. So where's all this money sitting? Ideally, in a free market economy, I work, I get money from a company that sold products or services. I take that money, I disperse it on bills, who then they pay their employees, and it creates an economy. Well, what happens if some chain in that link doesn't get their money? It disrupts the rest of the chain. And I think we've got some people taking advantage of a bad economy right now. You know, if freight rates are the lowest they've been in a long time, why aren't we seeing savings on the shelf? I mean, they're paying less, and I know the answer to this, but they're paying less for shipping cost, or brokers are keeping more of the money. Somebody is making money off of this, and I don't have a problem with everybody making money, but it's just it's a really frustrating time right now to be a truck driver. I got a gut feeling about that accountant. Glad I didn't send him any of my hard-earned money. Crappy how he did you when you did so much for him. Lick your wounds and move on. Good for you. Yeah, it's a shame because he and I actually became pretty good friends, and it's always bad when your friends are the ones that screw you over. But especially since I started this YouTube thing the last 4 years, I've lost a lot of really good friends. They wait for the opportune time and they stab you in the back. And you know, I've still got some loyal friends out here like Tim, like John Toohey, some of them, but um, I've had my fair share of backstabbers out here too. And I'm not alone. I think every YouTuber that gets a decent following experiences it. Like sometimes, a lot of times, it's other YouTubers with ambitions of having a really big channel. Hey Todd, do you recommend Swift MRP program? I'm currently pulling FedEx Ground, but looking to work for myself. Actually, what I would recommend, MRP is not a bad program, but I would recommend saving your money and buying a truck on your own, either through Lone Mountain or Accelerate, or you know, there's 1,000 companies that sell trucks regarding of your credit situation. Maybe if you could save up enough to pay cash, it'd be even better. While you're saving, the economy is going to improve over time, and you'll be able to get a better deal on a truck as truck prices come down and as rates go up. Um, Now, would I ever do another lease purchase or an MRP? Sure, if I lost this truck and didn't have any options, I would do it. But in this day and age, it's so easy to get your own truck and call the shots yourself. And you're making good money at FedEx Ground that I'd probably just stay where you're at until you could buy one. That way, you get into it with a company, you can take your toys and go to another playground. If you're in a lease purchase, an MRP, you're stuck at Swift for the duration of that lease. Now you can do a straight lease there, and you can move the truck after a year, but they're going to want 10 to 12,000 down. And if you're going to put that kind of money down and still be under their thumb, I think you're better off to just go out and buy your own truck. Hey Pablo, what's going on? Thanks for being here, my friend. I don't know if he wants me to give his exact location. I would call him in southern Kentucky. Um, but when he comes on, we can pose that question to him and see how specific he wants to be. Um, I'll tell him you're in Cynthiana and see if he wants to say how close he is to you. The shippers are using the market to their advantage. They are killing drivers and brokers. The rich get richer, taking advantage of the little guy. Yes, I think there's probably some of that taking place. Elvis is in the building. Good evening, Mr. Todd. Hello, Elvis. Yes, sir, Pablo, you are my friend. I've called you friend in other videos. I must have missed it in tonight's video. The heat has fried my brain. It is hot. Gary says he would be scared to file his own taxes. I'm a little bit afraid of that too, but I'm also afraid of of somebody that would shaft me as bad as this accountant has. And so, people say, well, you shouldn't go on here and sling mud or nothing like that. Maybe not, but I would feel bad if one of y'all contacted one of these companies that's on my wall of shame and they treated you the way they've treated me. And let me remind you guys, they know that I've got almost 25,000 followers on Instagram. They know I've got a TikTok page. They know I've got several hundred people on LinkedIn. They know we're at almost 6,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And so they know that people hear me, people see me. If they'll screw me over, they'll screw you over 10 times worse because for the most part, many of you don't have the same platform. And so that's why I'm on here telling you guys about these companies when they do these kind of shady things, because if they'll do it to me, they'll do it to you. And I don't want to run into one of you guys at a truck stop and you're like, Todd, why didn't you tell me? I lost X number of dollars or whatever. So the second that I realize that they're shady or something like that, I'm done with them. And I mentioned a few weeks ago I had a guy going to talk health insurance on here, and he specializes in drivers. And people have been asking, why hadn't I had him on yet? And it's because of what these other guys have done. Now I'm vetting these guys even more. I'm thoroughly checking them out. And I told the insurance guy earlier this week, I don't know if I'm going to have you on the show or not. He sent me everything. I'm looking over it, but it took him so long to get me this stuff. I said, what's going to happen if I bring you on and 20 or 30 people call you for insurance and you're taking this long to get back to him? And he told me some stuff that had been going on and assured me it wouldn't happen again. And maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I'm just, the reason he hadn't been on the show yet is I'm still thinking about if I want to even mess with it or not. So we'll see. But like I said, John's a good guy that I know and trust. And so I don't have any reservations about bringing him on tonight. But some of these other companies, if they're not going to shoot straight, I'm not going to be associated with them. I don't do business that way. And if they make things right, I'll tell you, but I may still not do business with them. That's another thing. I'm going to tell you one more while we're waiting on John. The people that finance my truck, which happen to be in the same building as the people that sold me the truck, called me the other day and started asking me very, very personal questions. How much do I make off of YouTube? How much money do I have in my bank accounts? And I flat out told the girl, I said, if you're not my wife or a very serious girlfriend, you're asking questions you're never going to get the answer to. And I was a little offended by it. So we may be experiencing a situation with that dealership and that finance company where they got a few phone calls, they got a little notoriety, and it's kind of gone to their head and they've got a little big for their britches. And so I'm not thinking very highly of them right now. And it'd be real easy to put a wall of shame on my website. You're welcome, Jay Rose. Thanks for being here, my friend. 10-4. All right, let's see what else we got. I did not know this. Roger Berry used to work with John Toohey a long time ago. Where did y'all work together at? What company was it? And remind me of that when he comes in. We'll ask him about it. So the APU now, the belt is fine, but the alternator appears to have gone out. And from what I understand, the alternators on those APUs are fairly expensive, like around $300, $350. Or that sounds expensive to me. But I'm about to go home for that doctor's appointment and stuff, and I'll get it fixed at some point. I just don't know when. It's so hot here lately, though, that you still almost have to run the truck to keep it cool enough sometimes. It just gets unbearable. There's nothing to be afraid of in an audit as long as you report honestly. Mistakes happen with accountants. You fix it and move on. The IRS is only scary if you don't report correctly. I agree with most of that. I think they're still scary regardless of whether you report correctly or not. They've just got so much power. And I think even the honest guy that does everything correctly is still a little nervous if an agent shows up on their doorstep. But I agree that you can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief um, if you've done everything to the best of your ability and tried your best to accurately report everything. Pueblo says, I missed what happened. You hadn't really missed a lot. We got a good friend of mine that's going to come in and interview in a minute, and we just been kind of talking about my week and the heat and all of that. And I was mentioning 3 companies that I've recently had really bad experiences with. And basically, I'm saying if you don't take any other advice that I offer you, please, please, please don't do business with these 3 companies for the time being. And the 3 companies, of course, are Cordell Truck Sales, CFO Trucker, and Samsung, to be quite honest. J Rose with the praying hands. Is it time to rocket from the Delta to the DMC? Oh, wait, that's something else. I've got to go. The grandkids just showed up. I will catch up early today morning. Would be nice to find out if that's the same John Toohey. I worked with him in the Lexington area. Have a great night. I'll ask him, and if you watch the replay, you'll see it. And but yeah, he should be on here in the next 20 minutes or so, and I'll ask him if he remembers you. Have fun with the grandkids, and thanks for coming in as long as you can. My tri-pack Evo APU had the alternator go out last month. I think the part was around 4th. Good grief! Did you get it fixed at a Thermo King dealer, or did you take it to like a Love's or a TA, or who did your work? How was the freight rates this week? Not great. This load here I brought from Phoenix to Cleburne was only about $1.80 a mile. The load I'm taking from Cleburne to Amarillo is right around, well, it's 357 miles, and it paid $8.12, so it was a little over $2 a mile, be like $2.20 or something. So and then if I can get one from Amarillo to Lubbock, they're usually pretty decent. But I would say they kind of leveled off again. It leads me to believe, like Cassius King said, that they just temporarily spiked, or not spiked, but went up a little because of the blitz last week, the brake safety thing. But I'm still optimistic. There seems to be more volume on there, more loads to choose from. They're just not great paying, and I hope that's going to come up in the coming weeks. Have you seen Christensen's latest video? Now they're requiring drivers, mostly lease operators, to have a blocking app on their phone, disabling it. I have not heard that. The one guy I knew that was driving for them left and went back to Swift for the 3rd time. And the other guys that I know there, I haven't talked to lately. I need to be careful here because I'm not a lawyer. And for those that didn't know, I know it's a surprise. So I hate to give legal advice, but I would think that they need to be very careful. And surely they've talked to their legal department about it. But when you start doing stuff like this, you creep up on on what I would call misclassification. And if they keep doing these kind of micromanaging, controlling things, I think they're going to wind up in a lawsuit. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not suggesting anybody do anything. But believe it or not, there are people that don't watch this channel, and somebody's going to file a lawsuit on them. I thought their inward facing cameras was a little bit of overreach. Everybody swore to me they weren't using them against the drivers, but now they've got this blocking app on their phone. And you and I both know what's going to happen. Guys are going to have a phone. They're going to have a burner phone, and that's going to be the number they give to the company. And then their main line, they're just not going to give the company that number. But here's the other problem with the blocking app. It can go through your phone and look around. And if it can go through your phone and look around, all a hacker's got to do is hack into that app, and then he can hack into your phone. Again, I'm not an IT specialist either, but I don't like this kind of stuff, and it would be a deal breaker for me. I don't care how nice the people are at the company or how pretty the trucks are. I wouldn't work in that kind of environment, especially as a lease operator or bringing my own truck there or something like that. Maybe as a company driver, you could justify it to some degree, but I don't like it. I ain't going to pretend like I do. And it's a shame because there's a lot of people there at that company that I do like. No, I took mine to oh, okay. It was an APU shop in Joplin. There you go. I'm gonna have to price shop. If it's $630, I don't know. We're getting to the most expensive thing on my truck is going to turn out being that APU here pretty soon. Okay, I hope you'll be able to come back and listen at least, even if you can't comment. And I'm going to ask him, like I say, if you watch the replay tomorrow, you'll see what he said. I got to make sure it's not him trying to call me. No, I had a missed call, but it's these telemarketers. That's another thing. I remember back when Clinton was in office, they passed some laws that was supposed to stop all these telemarketers and robocalls and all that. And I'm getting more than ever. And you put them on the do not call list and you block them. And all they do is change one digit on their phone number and keep calling you. I had one that called me like rapid fire 6 phone calls today. And they were offering me a loan, like a payday loan. I was like, thanks, but no thanks. So my truck is financed. Oh gosh, I don't have the contract right in front of me. It's roughly 42 or 46. I think it's 46 months. So I don't have, like I said, I may be off a little. I don't want to mislead anybody. I had said in the beginning I wasn't going to reveal my specific numbers because everybody's is different. And I didn't want somebody saying I got ripped off or I got a better deal than them because I was Trucker Todd or something like that. It is weekly payments, which is a real struggle because, man, you better have some money saved up if you take some time off. My 2024 Peterbilt 579 has EPU. Unfortunately, it's needing a warranty repair. Yeah, I like EPUs in some ways better than an APU. They seem like they break down a lot less. And every APU I've had's always had issues. But I love it when it works. I uh, honestly knew I was gonna have some issues with it, but I just wasn't expecting this many. All right, John Toohey is in the green room. We're gonna bring him in shortly. He looks like he's getting set up. We'll do a few more questions and then we'll bring him on. Uh, I'm going to ask him now, though, while he's in the green room. I don't know if he can hear me. I hope he can. So he can be thinking about it in case I forget. Um, well, we'll bring him in here shortly and I'll ask him. Let's see here. I got behind on the comments. Evening, Trucker Todd. A little late getting into the show. Been listening for about 10 minutes tonight while cleaning the truck and making me some food. We'll watch the first bit on the replay. No problem. Thanks for being here. John, some questions they're going to have for you. I'm going to bring you in shortly. People want to know if you're from Central Kentucky. He also mentioned some companies. One guy named Roger Berry thinks that he worked with you years ago, and he wants to know if you're the same John Toohey. So remind me, and we'll get back to that shortly. Just a couple more. Christensen has a YouTube channel. They get about 25 to 50 views. Yes, they do. Their safety guy does a lot of videos. I quoted a load from Memphis to Cheyenne, 3,500. Well, there you go. I'm filing a Form SS8 to determine if I was an employee or a contractor for those 15 weeks. Yeah, that's a good idea. A year they will bankrupt. Take a belt from your... Yep, you can do that. Also, some auto parts stores can do it. Last one, and then we're going to get John on here. Hey, Todd, just started watching the show. Looking forward to the video. Take care. Yes, sir. Thank you for being here, RCE. All right, the guy I've been talking about, let's bring him in. It's John Toohey, good friend of mine. Hey, John.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Can you hear us okay? You sound good on that end.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, I got a lot of questions for you, but let's get back to the big ones. If I can find them, my memory ain't what it used to be. The first one was, do you remember a guy named Roger Berry from your working history?
Roger Berry.
He currently lives in Cynthiana, Kentucky. And let's see, what else did he say? He said, your name sounds real familiar. He said he thinks he worked with you a long time ago, and he listed some companies here. Let me find those companies. He said he worked at a place called Dan Morningstar's trucking company, and with Happy the Glass Man in the mid '80s.
No, that don't sound familiar at all. No, I'm originally from Northern Illinois. I've only lived in Kentucky for 3 years now. So.
Okay. So you and I met at Swift. Where did you drive a truck at before Swift?
Way back in the early '90s, Burlington Motor Carriers was the first company I worked for out of school, and then I went to DTI, and they were a refrigerated company out of Sioux Falls, Iowa, I want to say, or South Dakota.
Oh, okay.
But then, but then go ahead.
You had to have been working somewhere for like 9 or 10 months to be able to lease a truck at Swift.
Yeah, I built power lines and was driving lowboy, flatbed, all kinds of things, just everything you could think of for about 19, 20 years.
Okay. And so I guess at some point you decided you wanted to drive a truck, and you started looking on YouTube and you found my videos, and that's how we met. Is that kind of how it went down?
Yeah. I found you on YouTube, obviously, and then I think it was last October. You may remember more than me, but I think it was last October, November. I shot you an email, and it wasn't 3 minutes later, and you called me back, and we talked for, I don't know, an hour and a half, and that was the first time we ever talked on the phone. So we kind of hit it off right off the bat.
Oh boy, I'm going to get in trouble for that, because there's guys that go, I emailed him, it took him 3 days to answer me.
I don't think you were busy that night, I guess.
Oh man, and then they're like, I get him on the phone, and 10 minutes later he's got to go. It's like, well, I may have some people.
I didn't mean to throw you under the bus, but that's the way it happened.
Oh, well, that's good. And then you did, if I remember correctly, you did pretty well at Swift for a while, and then the loads kind of dropped off like they did for everybody.
Yeah, I was a company driver for him for 4 months, and on a dedicated run, and that run dried up. So as you and I was talking, I went into owner operator, and that was all right at first. I mean, at first I was getting the miles and I was getting the loads and everything was good, but then it started falling off and the loads got less, and I was basically drop a load and wait a day, sometimes a day and a half or two. So can't pay bills when you ain't making money. So
Yeah, so
I
that
jumped.
brings up an interesting question. What what drew you to lease purchase to begin with? Where did you have the trucker dream of wanting to own a truck, or did you do it wanting more
Yeah,
money or the freedom? What drew you to want to lease a truck?
probably both. I been wanting to do it, own my own truck. Because after I had it, I was going to have it paid off. I had plans to help my cousin up in Wisconsin. He cuts wood and lumber and all that, and I was going to help him haul wood. So that way I'd have a truck, you know, um,
Ah,
and the money side too. But the money side fell off real quick.
yeah, it can be kind of volatile sometimes. So,
Yeah,
what kind of truck did you have at Swift? Was it a Freightliner?
yeah, it was a Freightliner. It was a 2019.
And I know currently you're in an international. Which to for all these fanboys out here, which do you prefer, an international or a Freightliner?
Freightliner all the way. I can't. I do not like this truck. I've had when I was a company driver with Swift for those 4 months. I think I had 3 or 4 internationals, and every one of them something went wrong with it. I had to go in the shop, and I didn't want to stay in the motel for a day while it got fixed. And so they put me in another one, and it'd be an international. And then that one would go down, and I'd say, I'd be under a load, and I'd say, well, give me another one. And that was an international. So when I
Yeah.
went owner operator, I finally got a Freightliner, and I fell in love with that thing. And now I'm back in an international and trying to get back into a Freightliner.
So, what's your dream truck? If you could have any truck in the world, what would it be?
Mm. Well, that's kind of hard to answer because I've never really driven a. Well, I have driven a Peterbilt, but that was a day cab with Service Electric I used to work for. They had a Peterbilt, so I've never driven a Kenworth. I don't know what those are like. So 90, might as well say 100% of the time, it's either been a Freightliner, International, or Volvo.
I've added John Toohey's email to the ticker at the bottom of your screen. If you need to reach out to John with any questions or things like that about what you hear tonight, his email's down there. And we're going to get into what made him decide to go back to company driving. And I think it'll be good for some of you guys that, you say, I don't want to own a truck. I just want to be a company driver, to kind of hear his journey and what made him decide to go back to being a company driver. So when you made the decision in your mind, all right, this ain't working for me. The miles aren't there. I think I want to be a company driver. How did you determine what companies you were going to apply to, and what things were most important to you about companies that you were considering?
Uh, I wanted to go to a smaller company um, because I feel it's a little more personal when you're with a smaller company. This company I'm with, they've only got like 530 some trucks. Um, they don't have all the terminals all over the United States. I wish they had a couple more, but Um, that and being able to pay my bills and provide for my family was the biggest and number one thing. I had to get making money, and I had
Yeah.
to. I went online and searched best companies to drive for, and this company popped up. I think it was one of the top five, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I remember you asking me about them, and I had heard a lot of good things about the company you're at.
Yeah,
Now, what are y'all's?
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I haven't heard. I think I've heard one bad thing, and that's basically it. Everything else has been positive. Nothing fantastic. It's just a good company to work for.
That's great. Man, we're gonna have people asking where you're at. You're gonna be accused of the same thing as me. I work at a great
Yeah.
company, and I'm not gonna tell you where it's at.
Well, I'll tell you if you really want to know, but that's up to the chat, I guess.
What do you guys think? Should we get him to tell us where he's working? Leave a comment and let me know. I'm gonna jump into a few of these comments real quick. Anyway, Tim was saying,
All right,
you know,
I'll be
Tim.
right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Tim. Yep.
I had a problem
I had
with the IRS and messed up when reporting by accident. They sent a letter for audit. I called them and asked what I made a mistake on. They told me what I owed. I paid it and all was done. Well, that is good. Russell Freight System says, "Hey, Trucker Todd. Hello, Mr. Todd. Hope all is well in the trailer. I'm not at the camper. I'm out here on the road. I got one of those seats that swivel around, so I'm sitting in the air conditioned seat. Let's see. I've driven Kenworth, Volvo International, and Peterbilt. Never lived in a Freightliner. That Freightliner I had at Swift was pretty nice. I still prefer a Kenworth, but it was a nice truck." And Shane Lee says, "Hello, Mr. Todd. Here's one. 500 trucks is not small. That's one of the top 150 for hire carriers." Yeah, I think it's just about the right size company. It's financially
Yeah,
they're going to be stable. What do you think, John?
yeah, I agree. But it's not as big as Swift, Snyder, JB Hunt, and all the other ones out there. So to me, it's smaller. It's a small
Just
company, I should say.
Stokins says, "Hope you're not in Georgia or Florida with this hurricane blowing in." I'm in Texas, right outside of Dallas, and I think, John, are you in Tennessee?
I mean, I just crossed the border into Kentucky. I'm on 65 at exit 2 at the Flying J.
Ah, okay. Are you gonna? Now we mentioned you live in Kentucky. Are you gonna get to go home on this trip?
No, I got to be in Syracuse, New York by tomorrow around 3. So I'm not going to be able to stay on here too long because I got to put some miles behind me tonight. So.
Oh, you got to drive tonight. I think I'm going to bed after
Oh
this.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's do it.
Thanks.
Let's do it. Let's reveal where are you working?
I went to GP Transco.
Ah, okay. Now GP, don't they have the? Oh, you even have the hat on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I ain't got it on, but yeah.
It. Do you? Don't they have a? How do they pay? I guess it's mileage, but they have a guarantee too, don't they?
Yeah, but you rarely hit that. I've never hit it. I've always went above it. But
And
they
you
do
left
have
them. Oh, go ahead.
They do have it. It's like if you get laid over for say 3 or 4 days, and you're not going to make your normal pay or your normal miles, then I believe that's the way that works. I'm not exactly sure because I've never hit it. I've always been above it, so
well,
I haven't
that
had
was
to
the
worry
next
about
question I was going to ask you about GP Transco. you had said that you had left Swift because the miles had dropped off, and I know you've been
Yeah,
there what about a month and a half now. How have the miles been at
yeah,
GP Transco? Are you getting more miles?
yeah. I've been here, I think, 6 weeks. I think this is my 6th week, and 3 of those weeks I've been over 3,000 miles. The only time I'm short on miles is when I go home, and it ain't short by much. The 2 times I went home, um, 2,600 and 2,758 on the
Wow.
miles.
So
Yeah,
even when you go home,
I'm
you're
telling
getting
you.
more miles than you were at Swift.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. By quite a bit.
Now this next one
Swift.
you may not know, but do they have a rider policy there?
Yep. Rider and pet policy. Yep.
So you can
They
you
did.
can bring the dog.
Yep. You just got to do what every other company requires. You got to fill out the paperwork, but they do have that.
And they've got medical and dental and vision and all that good stuff, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right, we've got some questions for you here. Let me knock some of these out real quick. I've got no audio. Anyone else? And then he says got audio now, so it may have just cut out for a second.
Yeah.
I'm in the shop with a crack in the air tank on the trailer. Well, that's no good, Ted. Hopefully they can get you in and out pretty quick. Have they told you how long it's going to take to fix? And here's the question for John. What's your average gross? So if you work all week, what can you expect to gross?
Um. Gross and I get confused on the gross and net. So
Gross
the
is
gross is
before it
what
comes out.
before taxes. Okay, before taxes. Um, if I get 3,000 miles, it's right around $1,900.
So they're
But then
paying like
after
60 cents a mile or
60
so.
cents, yes, sir. Yep.
Oh, okay. And is it the same for
Yep.
everybody, or is it based on experience?
No, you gotta have 1 year experience minimum. Um, then you get 60 cents a mile, and they do have the inward facing camera, but you can opt to have a cover put over that, but you only get 58 cents a mile if you do that.
Ah, you know me, I'd gladly take the cut and pay to not have the camera.
It tell you the truth, it don't bother me. I thought it would. It don't bother me. Once you stop and you go to bed, you can cover it up.
What about, do
Other
they
than
run to all 48 states, or do they go to Canada? What do they run?
they do go to Canada. You got to have a passport though, obviously, but they don't do California too hardly ever. It's just the freight out there is so crazy and not there basically. So the California they don't go to, but every other state you go to. I've been to
And it's
farthest west. The farthest west I've been, and the closest to California I've been is Reno, Nevada.
it's
And
reefer,
Carson
right?
City. No. Drive-in.
Oh, even better. Do they do hazmat?
You're kind of breaking up.
Do they do hazmat?
Yes,
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. They do have hazmat
but not as.
for guys.
Yeah, now. Yeah, yeah, but it's not. It's basically like Swift. Few and far between.
Yeah. What about, is there any drop and hook, or is it all live load and live unload?
No, a lot of it is live unload and load, but there are some. They do have some accounts that is drop and hook.
Yeah, I think it's this
Snap-on
economy.
Yeah, Snap-on. They have that account, so that's a drop and hook if you get Snap-on. I think there's I think they have a small Walmart account, so Yeah, because I did do a drop and hook for Walmart in Texas. So, but
Okay.
you
What
know,
about
there's a,
you had said we only got you for a short time tonight. How long have we got you before you got to go?
I I can go another hour, I guess. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Let's remind everybody what's going on. We're talking to John Toohey. He works for GP Transco. He's a good friend of mine. Um, I met him in the Swift days, and I've met his family, and we're just kind of shooting the breeze. He did the lease purchase thing for a while, and now he has gone back to company driving and is happy as a bug in a rug over at GP Transco. If if
Yes,
you got
sir.
any questions for him, I think his only complaint in life is he's in an international currently. GP Transco does have Freightliners, and he would really like a Freightliner sometime soon, but he's making it happen in an international right now. So if you've got any
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
for him, throw them up, and we'll see what he says. I know people always ask me what I think about GP Transco, so I was glad you let me say what company you were at, because I know we've got some people, even if they don't ask tonight, they'll watch the replay, and you'll probably get some emails out of it, people wanting to know about it. Are they duals or super singles over there?
Yeah. Yeah. It's duels.
Oh, okay, okay, good, good. I average
They're
2,800
duels.
miles a week and
Yeah.
average
Yeah.
2,150 gross, no inward cameras. That's including when I go home 3 to 4 days every 2 weeks. Yeah, Midlife works for Cheeseman, and he's pretty happy over there too. I like his videos that he does with his drone.
Okay.
He'll go way up in there and show trucks backing into parking places at truck stops and stuff. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool video.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
told me
Real
what he
cool.
pays for his drones, and the economy's going to have to improve a little bit before I can get a drone like that.
I
Tim Back
imagine.
says, "Hey,
Yeah.
John, nice to finally see you. Hope all is well, my friend." Let
All's
me
good,
see.
Tim. We still got to get caught up this week. We ain't got caught up this week yet.
Here's one for you, John. Midlife says he
Okay.
wants to recruit you, but he doesn't have a teal colored truck. So you got people. He wants to hire you.
Oh, does he? Okay. Well, depends if it pays there.
Well, I can tell you
I
all
go
this
where
about. Oh, go ahead.
I go where the money is. But
Yeah,
these are nice looking trucks. I mean, and they trade them out every 3 years, or they go 350 to 380,000 miles. They'll rotate them out, and you'll get in a new truck.
John would be a good guy to hire if you could get him midlife. He's one of those truckers that's kind of old school, takes pride in his work, and does a good job, takes care of the equipment. But he seems pretty happy over there at GP Transco.
Yes, sir. I am. But hey, if there's a better company out there, you know.
Midlife says he shows every pay statement, as you all know. Yeah, he does. Once a week, he'll come on and he'll show his settlement and break it down, what he made, stuff like that. So he
Yeah.
does that. And again, he's at Cheeseman. I think they're more regional though, aren't they? Aren't they Midlife? Don't they just have kind of a regional area, whereas GP Transco is kind of more of a national type deal. I don't know. Does GP Transco go to West Texas?
You're breaking it up off a bit, Todd.
Yeah, my signals, it's bad now. AT&T and Verizon aren't working, and T-Mobile seems like it's messing up now too. Let me see if I can get it any better.
There's That's good right there.
It just kind of cuts in and out. Let's see. Daryl is with us. He says, "Howdy, Todd, checking in from some crap hole truck stop in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma." That wouldn't be the Loves there, would it? East of I-35 with a few isolated exceptions. Ah, okay. So they run pretty much like Dart did east of I-35. You guys, though, John, y'all go out west, don't you? Just not to California?
Yeah, yeah. Yes,
I
sir.
love I love running out west. Man, lately it's been tough out there. It's heavy loads and uh so oh, this is
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
They just built a Crown lift trucks in Amarillo. That's awesome. Anytime I hear about West Texas developing, that's good news for me. I may can get through that area a lot more. But, so, do you know where you're heading next after you get to New York?
No, nope. I won't know that until probably just before I deliver. They usually, as most companies, they know exactly where you're at. So if they see that I'm 50 miles out, say, they'll send me my next load. I think the longest I've had to wait for a load is about an hour. Otherwise, it's always
Wow.
been on my LED or on my ELD, and it's just getting loaded sometimes takes forever. Like today, I got to where I loaded. I got there at 10:30, 11:30, and they didn't get me loaded until after 2 o'clock. So that's not on the
Wow.
company. That's on, you know.
Yeah, we all have that every once in a while.
Yeah.
So Daryl says, "Not the Loves. This crappy little place is at exit 72." Don't candy coat it. Tell us how you really feel. We do very little spot market. 85 of our loads are Crown. Wow. Well, that's really good. So Cheeseman's going to be going to Amarillo regularly now? So what's their terminal like? Is it got like a driver's lounge and showers and stuff, or is it mainly just offices?
No, it's got offices, obviously. It's I don't know. I'd call it state of the art. I mean, it's less than 3 years old. I want to say it's right around 2 years old. They got a half a court basketball, basketball court. I'm not into basketball, but they do have that. They got showers, bathrooms are, and the showers are just top notch, out of this world. They keep the place immaculate. You can eat off the floors. Seriously,
Huh.
it's a
That's
real nice place. And Swift had some nice places, but this place, I've never been to the Phoenix terminal in for Swift, but I heard that was nice. But this place puts Swift to shame as far as their uh, cleanliness of their shop and their terminal.
and maybe competence of the shop. Swift was real hit and miss. Some of the shops were real good, and some of them weren't so good. You didn't you have a bad
Yeah.
experience with the Swift shop in Lancaster?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You would have to bring that up, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We
yeah.
got to air the good and the bad. If we're going to talk about how great
I
Swift is,
know.
got to talk about what's not so great.
Oh, yeah. Don't ever take your truck to the Lancaster mechanics.
Now they did do me right though. I gotta go back saying something good about Swift. When I left Swift, I left my wedding ring in the truck, and they went out there and got the wedding ring out and mailed it to me. I offered to pay the postage and everything, and they did it free of charge. So that was something nice they did for me that a lot of companies wouldn't have done. So as much as I'm ripping Swift about
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not ripping Swift. I'm just saying that shop kind of did things kind of weird, and they delayed me a week. So
let's see what else we got here. Midlife says, "Oh no, we don't have all those long load times." That's what they say. Yeah, every company claims they don't have long wait times, but you're at the mercy of that warehouse. The company can't do nothing about it. GP Transco is located in Joliet, Illinois. Do what, John?
Yes. Yep.
And I know people are. I know what he's thinking.
Located.
He's thinking that I badmouth trucking companies in Illinois, but I want to draw a distinction here. I'm talking about foreign-owned Illinois companies, and I'm talking about lease purchases with those companies.
Yeah.
This is a company driver position, so it doesn't fall under the same scrutiny as the foreign-owned lease purchases.
No, you can tell those guys because their trucks are usually junk, dirty. They don't look good at all. So
yeah, they look a lot better in the pictures on Facebook than they do in person. Midlife says, "I'm going to ask the question your wife asked. Why was the ring off the finger?" No, my wife knows. She takes hers off too. When you're diabetic and you drive a lot, your fingers swell up, and it gets uncomfortable to wear your rings. So I don't have them on right now. I take them off when I'm on the laptop typing a lot, or if I'm driving 10 or 11 hours a day, I take the ring off. And I actually have several rings. The original one that I got married with is long gone. I don't even know where it's at. And I had one that I wore it so much that it broke. And then I've got this one's what we call our work ring. It's a black one, and it's real thick. But no, she wasn't mad at all. Midlife says they don't have long load or unload times. That's good. So here's a question. Why did you leave Swift? I'm not sure if it was directed at John or me. I'll answer my part, and then, I'll let John answer. John, you can talk real quick about why you left Swift, and then I'll say why I left Swift.
Well, just my case, the miles weren't there. Wasn't making the money, so I had to do something. I couldn't live on. A couple of my checks at Swift were towards the end was like $100, 125, 330. So you can't make a living on that.
In my case was a little different. I was making really good money at Swift, and I liked it there. You could call it the YouTube effect if you want to. Blame it on that. You could blame it on me knowing what I'm doing, things like that. I made good money there. Swift is the highest paying job I've ever had anywhere. But my problem was I had a Volvo that I just purchased that was sitting in storage at the house. And I really missed being on the spot market. I was beta testing the Swift load board, and I didn't like the direction it was going or what I saw happening on that load board. And quite frankly, I don't think anybody involved with it is happy with what they're seeing right now. And so I thought, why am I paying for a truck that's sitting in storage that I could be using making money for? Why am I paying $676 a week for this Freightliner when I've got a truck I can use for free at the house? So I took that truck out of storage and leased it on to F2F, and then all the craziness ensued. But anyway, no, I don't have any hard feelings towards Swift. I did really well there. I just, in my case, I just wanted to get back to the spot market and saw a perfect opportunity to do it. My friend Robbie Ross, this is a dig at Dart and Swift. Something in the water on Lancaster shops. Yeah, both of the shops in Lancaster, Swift and Dart. Man, you just don't know.
Yeah, maybe
Uh,
maybe one quit and went to the other company.
yeah, they probably cycle back and forth when they get mad at each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gary Cook says he lives about an hour from Joliet, Illinois. Well, Gary,
Oh man.
if you decide that you want to make a company change, email John. I got his information in the ticker and also in the description of the video. And take a serious
Yeah.
look at GP Transco. He's been really
Yeah.
happy since he's been there.
He'd have it made because he could park his car at the terminal, go on the road, and then park his truck, at the terminal and drive his car home, and he'd always have a place to park when he goes home.
Yeah, and could probably get home pretty easy living that close to a terminal.
Yeah, they got a lot of contracts in and around Joliet area, Wisconsin. Yeah.
Here's a good one. Someone would have to be really desperate to work for or lease a truck from an Illinois foreign-owned company, owned and operated company. Yeah, exactly. I would not do a lease purchase from a foreign-owned Illinois company, and I still stand by that. I had a guy the other day that contacted me, and he was working for one of those companies, and he was telling me, "Oh, Todd, you're getting ripped off. You should come work for this Illinois company. I'm making so much money. I'm so happy." And he told me what his gross monthly revenue was for that month, and I was about $5,000 ahead of him. So I'm making about $1,000 a week more than him, and he thinks I'm getting ripped off. So sometimes I don't know how to respond to people. I'm glad he's happy there, but the problem with all those foreign-owned companies is, and it doesn't matter what country they're foreign-owned from, most of them don't understand American law and regulation, and so they try to get you to do illegal things. And the other thing is, it seems like everybody does well there the first 6 or 8 weeks, and then the bottom falls out of it, and the company takes the truck back, and they're sitting there with no job again. Jessica says, "Wow. Fixed and rolling 2.5 hours. Good shop, Loves in Palestine, Arkansas." Good deal. That's not bad if they could fix your trailer in 2 hours. Where are you heading tonight, Ted? Let's see. What else should I know about GP Transco that I may not have tapped on yet? Can you think of anything? I know you were telling me you mentioned earlier today you like their road service.
The road service, yeah. They deal mostly with Loves, so and they also have paid vacation. You get a raise every 6 months, a penny raise every 6 months, paid vacation, paid holidays, the major holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, stuff like that.
Wow. I didn't know
but
that.
But if you live in Florida, but if you live in Florida, you probably don't want to come here because it's a 12-week notification before you get to go home. That's the freight part of it. So
yeah,
but there are some people that live in Florida that. Oh, go ahead.
You just have to plan your home time, and not that he's not saying you'd have to wait 3 months to go home. He's just saying you need to schedule it 3 months out. So if you wanted to go home every 3 or 4 weeks, then you'd need to schedule every 3 or 4 weeks, 12 weeks out, if that makes sense. But
yeah,
I think a lot of people in Florida experience that.
Yeah, they do have some people that do live in Florida, and what they do, they'll park their truck in Joliet, fly home, and stay for 3 or 4 days, and fly back and get back on the road.
I wonder if they'd let you find a load to like the southeast and park it in a drop yard down there, a secure drop lot, or if they make you take it to the home terminal.
No, it depends how many days you'd be off, I guess. And
Yeah.
you're right. If it's a secured lot, yeah, they may. But I don't know too much about that because I don't live in Florida. So
Is GP Transco all company drivers?
no,
They got some owner operators, don't
they
they?
do have. Yep, yes, they do. Yep. I don't know how many they have, but they do have quite a few. I just to guess, they may have 20, maybe, but they do have owner operators. You got to have your own truck. You, they don't have a lease purchase.
They used to, and I think they did away with it. Okay, I got to answer.
Yeah,
I got to
they did,
answer
yeah.
this next comment because somebody said something and I didn't know, so I Googled it. So Midlife Trucker said GP Transco is foreign owned. I Googled it, and according to Wikipedia, GP Transco is an American trucking company. So they're showing it's showing that they're American owned. I'm not sure why you're thinking foreign owned. Maybe at one time they were, but
They do have foreign people working there. I mean, they
yeah,
also got Americans working there too. So
yeah,
uh,
having a diverse workforce doesn't necessarily mean that they're foreign owned. The CEO looks like
that
he's
they're
Dominique
yeah.
Zartarskis, but that doesn't mean the company's foreign owned. It just means some of the leadership is of foreign descent, and even the founder
Yeah,
looks like
I
that.
think
But it's considered an American company according to Google. It says that they provide transportation and logistics in the United States and Canada. Let's see. It was headquartered overseas until 2020 when they moved it to Joliet. So it is headquartered in the United States and considered an American company. But I think what we're talking about is the
yeah,
Chicago suburb type ones. But I just wanted to clarify that.
yeah,
Ted's in
yeah.
Houston. Tom says 12 weeks. No, and like you said, if you're in Florida,
He's
that's a
talking.
decision you can do. What, John?
Yeah, he's talking about the home time for people that live in Florida. But
Yeah, like
that's
you were
just
saying that
that's,
that may be
go
a
ahead, Todd.
decision you have to make if you live in Florida, if you want to deal with it or not. But I can tell you, a lot of companies won't even hire you if you live in Florida, and if they do, a lot of them have regulations. You got to stay out this many weeks, that many weeks. He's not saying you got to stay out 12 weeks. He's just saying they want 12 weeks notice when you're taking time off. So you got to plan and schedule a little more.
Yeah, because it takes them a little time to get the loads. I guess I'm not sure on that, but that's what they require.
Yeah. And OTR thought we meant 12 days. No, it is 12 weeks for Florida people only. That rule doesn't apply to other
Yeah,
states. But if you live in Florida, they want more notice.
yeah,
And I'm sure there's exceptions to every rule. And if you had a special situation, you could talk to your fleet manager about it. Cheeseman only hires
yeah.
drivers who live where they can get them home regularly. We do have a drop lot in Shanahan, Joliet. Well, there you go. Serbian American,
Oh,
maybe.
yeah. GP's right on Yeah, GP's right on Shanahan Road in Joliet.
Oh, is it? Wesley
Yeah,
says
yeah.
hello. Hello, Wesley. Thank you for being here. And really, I want to go back to that comment for a second. there's something, because I realize what's being done here. We're trying to turn this around to where we say Trucker Todd doesn't like foreign owned companies. And that's not what I've said. What I've said is I don't like Illinois foreign based companies that have a lease purchase. And GP does not offer a lease purchase, so I'm not referring to them. There's a lot of companies that are here now that are foreign owned: Toyota, Mazda, Hyundai, Kia. I don't have a problem with foreign owned companies. I do have a problem with foreign owned trucking companies that try to run a lease purchase specifically out of Illinois. And because I've seen too many drivers get burned by them. But for a company driver job, I wouldn't have a problem with them. And I would even consider them if I had a truck like I do now and was looking for a company, because they run the dog out of John. They keep John busy.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Yeah. Speaking of that, look at Super Ego. They're based out of Chicago, I believe. And look at,
and they're a prime example.
So
Super Ego is one of those foreign owned lease purchase companies, and you won't find hardly anything good about them. And so it's I know it doesn't seem like much of a distinction, but it is when I'm talking about the lease purchases from those companies and the company drivers from those companies. Just left Houston, so you're down there by Ted. Wasn't Ted in? No, Ted's in Arkansas. I'm getting locations confused tonight. Yeah, I agree with Wesley. Those companies like Super Ego doing a lease purchase, they will rip you off.
Yeah. You're not only leasing the truck, you got to lease the trailer too. Which I'm sure there's other companies like that, but
well, I'm guilty of that. I pay for my trailer.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems like they're a little more high priced. I would venture to guess. I'm probably speaking out of half truth, but I just don't know that much about them. I just heard bad things about them.
Yeah, I lease my trailer too, or rent it. I guess it's technically a rent, but I get it cheaper than I could buy one anywhere by a lot. I mean, it's significantly cheaper than I could get my own. When I went there, I told him I'm going to use your trailer a few weeks and then I'm going to go get my own.
Yeah.
And when I saw how cheap it was, I was like, forget what I said. I'm going to use your trailer. And so.
Yeah. No, I know there's good companies out there like that, but.
Yeah, they're few and far between. I just lucked into a deal. One of my viewers told me about this guy, and he only had 5 or 6 trucks, and he's been great so far. But man, if I was considering a company driving job, though, it sounds like you've got it pretty good over there at GP Transco.
Yeah, I have no complaints right now, as it stands today. No complaints at all. I'm trying to hide this sun.
Oh, that's okay.
Sun's getting right in the windshield.
Every once in a while, the sun will hit me, and it makes me look like a ghost because I'm already light complected anyway. So Midlife says, I'm not digging it on foreign owned. I leased at Ardor Express, which was a Polish American owned. Yeah, and see what happened with the lease you did there. It's just tough. Ideally, you want to go to a smaller company like I would say. I'm going to disagree with myself here. I like companies that are over 100 trucks and less than 1,000. So I realize the irony in that. I'm working for a company that only has 6 or 7 trucks. Ideally, I like them over 100, less than 1,000. That's why GP Transco right there in the middle at 500 is good. But yeah, when you're with a small company, even like at 500 trucks, when John calls in, they know him by name. How many, you may not know the answer to this. How many drivers does your fleet manager have on his board? Do you know?
I do not know.
Okay.
I've never asked him.
typically they have smaller numbers. They can get to know you better, what you like to run, what you don't like to run. When you go to Swift now, my situation again, it was a little different. They knew who I was. Every terminal I walked in, they it was Trucker Todd. They might not know my truck number, but they knew who Trucker Todd was. But a lot of times, if you're just a regular driver there, they what's your driver number, what's your truck number, and it's nice to be with smaller outfits where they know you by name. I mean, the company I'm at, and I mean, he knows my wife's name, he knows me, and he's had dinner with both of us, me multiple times, with my wife once, and so you get kind of a more of a personal feel.
You're breaking up again, Todd.
Oh boy, I don't know what to do about
You're
it.
breaking up again.
Let me try something. Maybe that'll make it better.
That sounds good.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
my
sounds
phone
good
was doing some stuff in the background, so I closed some windows.
No, they ain't. Oh, okay.
Let's see here. Uh-oh, we lost John. John, if you can hear us and come back in, come back in. Aubrey called me yesterday. What'd they say? Maybe John will be back in a minute. Yeah, here he comes. I think we've got him back. It may have been your phone. Sometimes when you have multiple, sometimes when you got multiple windows, it takes a lot of bandwidth. Somebody wanted to know if they gave you a teal truck.
Yes, that's all they have is teal trucks. Except for the owner operators, they got their own.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Because I know I'd seen some other colors there, but that may have been owner operators.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, if it's other than teal, then it's an owner operator.
So Wesley says his company has 450 trucks.
That's all I've ever seen was.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's I hate when we have signal issues like this. No Fear says that he's a guy with 7 trucks. Well, you're getting there. I tried Arter Express, but it wasn't worth it. Yeah, I've heard kind of mixed reviews about Arter. Arter was a great company to lease with. Unfortunately, that isn't the case anymore. Yeah, according to somebody that I talked to recently that worked there, they said that Arter made some changes and that it was a good deal and it quit being a good deal. Wesley says his FM has 20, so yeah, that's a good setup. If I was trying to think, I think my guy at Swift, I think he had about 50 or 60, but he was just really good at what he did, so he could handle it. Midlife says a couple of weeks ago he helped. Oh, go ahead.
Another thing I like about smaller companies, like when I call in, I usually, about 85% of the time, they answer right away. Only very few times I'm on hold, and I'm on hold for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. But when I was with Swift, there was times I was on hold for an hour, hour and a half, and I'd just hang up, call them back later.
Yeah, that I'm trying to Yeah, I didn't wait on hold that long, but a lot of people said they did. Midlife says a couple of weeks ago that he helped a GP Transco driver slide his 5th wheel at Thornton's. There you go. That's good of you. I appreciate it. Anytime I hear drivers helping drivers, that's good. Wesley says he can hear me.
Absolutely.
And Wesley's been talking about Aubrey. I think he means Avery over at over at Cordell. So they're trying to get you to buy a truck. The next time you talk to Avery, ask him about the money he owes Trucker Todd. I just want to see what his reaction will be. That's what you guys need to do when you're dealing with Cordell, when you're dealing with Avery, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to buy a truck?" And I'll say, "Yeah." Do you want to take care of Trucker Todd? And just see what they say. Wesley said no. Told him no truck, huh? Right now I just can't recommend them. Like I said, the more I think about it, the more I like the wall of shame idea, putting it on the website. I may devote a whole page to these dishonest and I'm sure some of them's lawyers will be contacting me, but guess what? I don't care. Let's see here. I work for E.W. Willie. It's a flatbed company. It's a great company to work for. Cool. The only thing, Pablo, about flatbed is I honestly don't know much about it. If you guys want to come on sometime and talk about flatbed, either you or somebody from your company, that's great, but you'll have to tell me what questions to ask because it's definitely not my strong suit. I don't pretend to know everything, and so I'm telling you right now, I don't know a lot about flatbed. And I'd have to rely on you to help me out. I made good money at Arter Express, but they kept changing the deal. Yeah, I've worked for some car lots like that. They'd come up with a commission structure that they thought nobody could hit. Like if you sold 15 cars a month, you made a killing. Well, then when people started selling 15 cars a month, they went, "Oh, we got to change the structure." And so it's like they moved the goalpost. Yeah, it's a. Oh, he wouldn't argue with you. He would probably just say, "Oh, I'm taking care of it. I'm gonna make it right." Well, even when I talk to him now, we don't have an argument. It's one of those deals where they know they did something wrong. I did everything I was supposed to do, and they didn't do everything they were supposed to do. They just, and I don't even think it's Avery. I think it's the people above him. But I'm just curious what he would tell some of you guys if y'all are like, "No, I don't want to buy a truck. I want to talk about what you did to Trucker Todd." Let's see here. Next one. This can be good or bad. He says that Cheeseman, the dispatchers control a geographical area rather than a board of drivers. As long as those geographical groups communicate well with each other, that works well. But I've worked with some companies that did that, and it was a train wreck. They'd say, "Yeah, we're going to send you this area, and then we'll work on getting you home or whatever." And you got to that other area, and the other area didn't know nothing about it. And they're like, "Oh, we don't know why they sent you here. We don't have loads going to Texas." And so it's one of those things that can be good or bad based on how well the communication is. Here we go, John. This is a good one for you. He said, "Todd, I don't think it's you. He's
Okay.
breaking up." So they're saying your signal's breaking up.
Yeah, that's possible. I got three
It may
bars,
be
4
mine
bars,
too.
3 bars, so I'm going.
Like I said, I
So,
stopped here tonight and I barely got on the air in time because Verizon and AT&T I can't get any speed out of, and T-Mobile was kind of working and not working. It'd be fast for a minute and quit. So part of what I do before the show starts is I do speed tests on all 3 networks and try to get the best signal. And then like some of the graphics and stuff up right now, even though they're simple, they take some time to get together. And so usually I started at 3 o'clock today, so it took me 2 hours to prepare for the show. Wesley says, "Yep, Avery." I called him Overy or Ovary. I meant Avery. Good grief, my tongue's tied.
Overy.
Yeah, for your next truck, contact Ovary. Let's see. Remember what we say in newspapers. You only write facts you can easily prove or clearly stated as an opinion. Oh, well, I think I've done that tonight. As a matter of fact, I said specifically that if you don't listen to any other advice I give, please, please, please don't do business with these three companies for the time being. And so that's advice, which would be an opinion. Um, a lot of people, I guess I need to talk about this. I get a lot of advice from people uh, that don't think I know what I'm doing. And what you don't realize is in the background of YouTube, there's a lot of people trying to take you down. And so I cover my bases a lot better than you think I do. And I've had dozens of people try to take me down. I've had dozens of people with smaller channels offer me terrible advice, hoping I would do it and my channel would fail. And I've I've done a lot of research. I've read a lot of books, and I'm pretty safe in what I'm doing. But I appreciate it. I know your heart's in the right place. Midlife says most of their loads are out and back at their main terminal. Does GP Transco have anything? Do they have any dedicated accounts or stuff like the one guy Gary that lives an hour from the terminal, where he could run out and back or dedicated or something like that that you know of?
That no, not that I know of. I do know they have a local driver, a couple local drivers, I believe, that will run like to the Snap-on play, the Snap-on shop, and then bring a they'll bring an empty up there, bring a loaded one back, so that somebody can pick that up in the yard instead of going to Snap-on itself. But that's about all I know is they got a couple local guys, and I'm not sure on the dedicated.
Midlife says I should look at T-Mobile 5G home internet. I have that already. It's at my house right now. Um, but keep in mind, I'm in different locations all the time. And that's why I have all three networks, because they all have their strong areas and weak areas. And that's why before each show, I look at all three of them and see what's the best. And I do have that T-Mobile on the truck with me when my wife's with me, or will have it on the truck with me when she's with me. But it's 5G just like my phone is. I mean, when I run a speed test with it, comparable to my phone at the house, they're about the same. So it won't necessarily improve anything anymore above what I've got. It'll just be another $50 bill on top of all the other internet I pay for. You never say Jack is a crook. You say, I think Jack is a crook. One is freedom of speech, the other bad news. I spent a couple of decades in newspapers. We got sued a lot. Yep, that's true. And that's why I preface everything the way I do. Like I said, I've had a lot of people try to take me down. You'd just be shocked. I could do a whole month of videos on different attempts by different people. One guy was a YouTuber that he actually taught me how to do my channel, and he was frustrated that I was making so much money at Roadrunner, and he did a lot of things trying to, steer me wrong where I'd lose my channel, get demonetized, things like that. And I don't focus on the negative like that. I would just say, trust me, I might not look like I know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing. You need a satellite antenna. Well, they make those deals you can buy at the truck stops, those antennas for cell phones, but most of them are LTE, and you really need a good 5G connection. And everybody focuses on the download speeds, but upload speeds is what's most important for these type of live streams. And I know, like when you have a guest on, like when we got John on tonight, it really takes a lot of bandwidth. And I was glad to hear Cassius King talk about it, because then I know that other YouTubers are experiencing the same frustration I am. And I'll say one more thing about this, and then I'll move on. StreamYard, which is the service we're using to stream these videos, they're not the best in the world either. And I've looked at some alternatives, and I'm just not sold on any of them yet. But I am looking for better alternatives to put out better live streams. I never expected these live streams to do as well as they have, and now that I know they're a success, I'm gonna pour a little more money into them when I can. Right now, I can't pour money into a bologna sandwich. Rates have got to get better, folks. Well, I'm just telling you, he says the home router has better antennas. I'm just telling you, I've got one of the boxes at the house, and maybe next time I'm home, I'll do a speed test of both of them side by side. The speeds are very, very comparable, and so I do like it though, and I don't mind bringing it on the truck and using it. But if I'm in a weak T-Mobile area, it's still going to be a weak T-Mobile area. And most of the time, T-Mobile's the stronger one for data speeds. Verizon's the best for voice calls, and AT&T seems to be the best for having data everywhere. But for actual speed, when T-Mobile's got it, they're the fastest, or that's been my experience. And you got to remember, I'm using my third string phone right now. My strong phone, the Samsung, the $2,300 phone, is it currently in parts unknown, so probably disassembled. So I'll get another phone, either an app. I may go Apple next time. I'm pretty frustrated with Samsung, or I may get the new Pixel 8 Pro when it comes out, and then we'll see. The phones, the coverage area should be better again. When are you, midlife? When are you going to start doing lives? Somebody wants to know. Racing Ray says, funny you should say that, because I'm sitting here at the hospital eating a bologna sandwich. I started to talk about your situation tonight and ask for prayers. Is it okay if I kind of generically speak about your situation and let people pray for it? Or do you want me to keep my mouth shut? He's going through some stuff right now, and I'd love to tell you guys about it if he's okay with it, but I'll still respect their privacy even if he gives me permission to mention it. LOL, sign up with OnlyFans and make extra money. That's kind of scary. Trust me, after falling this week on some rebar, you definitely don't want to see my leg. I doubt you'd want to see me, swimsuit posing. Probably not a big demand for that on that website. Tom says, I don't know about lives, too many bloopers. Yeah, I had a lot of bloopers in the beginning. Now I got some pretty good moderators that usually keep me out of trouble unless I still accidentally read the comment. Okay, he said I could talk about their situation. His wife, this is my uncle, his wife, which would be my aunt, is having some serious problems with her legs. She's a diabetic, and they're considering the possibility of either having to amputate a leg or some toes, and they're going to reach that decision probably tomorrow. If you guys could keep them in your prayers, I would really appreciate it. They're good people. He does mission trips for churches and stuff, and he's retired now, and she works for a major retailer in Lubbock, and this has really put a strain on their family, and it's a really scary situation for them. So if you could all just take a few minutes and say a quick prayer for them tonight, I'd really appreciate that. And I think my sister created a fundraiser for them as well. If you guys want the link for that, shoot me an email at Todd@truckertodd.net, and I'll get you a link for for that as well, if that's something you're interested in. Wesley says, my girlfriend said that she read the rates for truckers is down, and that's why I do reefer, because people need food. That's kind of the general consensus, but what people don't realize is dry vans haul food too, canned food, paper towels, which everybody uses, toilet paper, which everybody uses. Currently, I'm hauling, I think I'm hauling water, drinks. I think right now I'm hauling, I'm hauling drinks right now. So we all haul food, and rates have generally been better in the reefer division if you're running the spot market, but that fluctuates just like flatbed and dry van. I just when you're pulling a reefer, you tend to spend a lot of time sitting at grocery warehouses, and I think John would tell you, and I'd agree, that we don't sit a lot. We're moving. Like John's fixing to have to get off here in a second because he's got to run tonight. Tell me when you need to go so I can. But we'll keep you as long. If you guys got any questions for John or about GP Transco, throw them up real quick before he's got to run. Otherwise, you'll have to email him and wait for him to get back to you. A young lady in Georgia has OnlyFans for her Lincoln hearse. No porn, just pics of the car and stuff. She has a lot of subscribers. I laughed when she posted stats. I guess I'm from a different generation. I feel sorry for people that do that, because I think, they say the internet's forever. At some point, their grandkids are going to see that. And I can't imagine they're going to look at that and see grandma on there and be proud of her or what she's doing. I think sometimes we make decisions when we're young for monetary reasons that we're going to regret when we get older. Wesley said he's praying. Ted said he's praying. And Wesley said he does a lot of drop and hook. Well, there you go. I do appreciate all the prayers. Like I said, this is my aunt and uncle, and I'll be there this weekend. I'm going to try to drop by the hospital and see them. But it never hurts to pray for somebody when they're going through something like this. It's got to be scary to go through, for sure. But anyway, I've been yakking a lot. You got anything else you want to say, John? I'm sorry I talked so much.
No, you're good. No, I just thanks for having me on, and I think I'm going to get going here and get heading down the road. But if anybody has any questions, like Todd said, just email me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
All right, good deal, man. I'll go ahead and cut you loose so you can get to work. Am I supposed to call you after tonight's show, or you want me to talk to you tomorrow?
No, you can call me. I'll be driving. So.
All right. We'll see you, man. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, that was John Toohey, and he's off to the races now, working hard. Let's see here. Ted said lots of prayers. I appreciate that. No Fear said said prayers. Thank y'all. Like I said, it's a scary situation. She has no porn on her OnlyFans. It's all about the car. I only see her on TikTok. But thought it was funny people paid $1.99 a month when she cleared. Well, some people are fanatical about cars, and I'm a little bit that way. I'd probably pay money to see some cool cars. I'm the guy that back in the day before the internet, I'd buy the magazines at the truck stops and at the grocery stores, and look at the show cars and stuff like that. I really like cars from the 70s, which I've been teased about that, but I do. I like 70s cars. They're not the fastest in the world, but they're kind of cool looking, things like that. Uncle says, thank you all so much for the prayers. What is the speed of the GP trucks, give him my number if you would. Yeah, let me do that right now because I'll forget. Um, I believe they're running 67 if I remember correctly. He's already off here, so I can't ask him. But I'm going to try to send him your phone number so that this is extremely hard to do on this phone. And we're sending this to Tim. Not Tim. John. Sorry, folks. Almost done here. All right. Got that done. Let's see now. Tom Bell is like me, midlife trucker. My favorite vehicle, and my uncle uh, has given me a hard time about it. I love the Mustang too. I've had a few of them in my life. I think 4 of them. I'd like to have another one, but uh, I just love 70s cars. I had a 74 Thunderbird. I love that car. Again, it had a pretty good top end. It wasn't that fast on takeoff, but it was a cruiser. The seats were like big leather couches, and I love the 73 through 79 Ford pickups, especially the 4-wheel drives, the super cabs, the crew cabs. Just great trucks. And so, yeah, I'm into that kind of stuff. Yep, John is still here. He said 67 on the cruise, 65 on the foot. Hey, John, I sent you Ted's phone number. He wants you to call him. He's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's okay to call. He's got some questions about GP. Yeah, he did answer. I was getting to him. Okay, so we're doing good. We're at the 2-hour mark. You guys have uh, done good tonight. Thank y'all for being welcome into my good friend John. Thank you, John, for coming on and telling us about your trucking experience and about GP Transco. And so now the floor is open. We can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Back to this comment though about paying $1.99 to see cars. I am thinking about starting a membership deal on here. YouTube's been on me for at least a year to do it. Prior to now, the problem's always been, what could I give you that I'm not already giving you? And I think we've got there now. Some of you have said you want some political commentary. Some of you have said you want to see the Corvette. You want to see some of my cars. So I think I may start that pretty soon. I know you get a special badge next to your name. It's not expensive. We'll make it probably $3 a month or $5 a month. And then some of you can become members if you want to. And so that's something that we'll put together here pretty soon, as soon as I have a chance to do it. And when I do, I'll announce it on here. So if you guys are subscribed, you'll receive notifications when I announce it. Skyline says, I'm late. I just made it. Got done driving. Oh, man, you missed a really good first 2 hours. We had John Toohey on, and he kind of talked about how we met and what he had done in trucking and where he's at now. And so it was pretty good. If you get a chance to watch the replay, check it out. As long as it's not feet pics. Yeah, I got ugly feet. I'll be honest with you. My legs in general are ugly. They're all scarred up and banged up. And so probably no leg pictures. I don't think any of you want to see me with the shirt off or nothing like that. But who knows? Maybe I create a page on there and show pictures of my cars or my camper or something like that. My second car was a 78 Ford Mustang 2 King Cobra. Yeah, those things are going for like $18,000 right now. Some of them are in the 20s. They only made like 4,000 and something of them to begin with. If you can find one of those with T-tops and a 4-speed, or even if they modified it and put a T5 in it, those are neat cars. That's actually my like one of my dream cars. If I was to win the lottery, I'd be getting me one of those, either red or black. The black ones with the red pinstripes on them are nice, nice, nice. His first car was a Ford Pinto van. Ah, the little station wagon. That was probably a cool car in the 70s. Manny says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Manny. Skyline says he will go back and watch. Manny says his thoughts are with my family. I appreciate that. I wasn't sure if I was going to mention it tonight or not, but my aunt is having some medical problems and they may have to either amputate her leg or more likely just some toes. She's got some feet and leg problems. And so if you guys have a chance and can say a quick prayer for them, I would greatly appreciate it. Stay away from politics. People nowadays are sensitive to logic. That's exactly why I would have to put it behind something like a group page like that, where um, I couldn't get demonetized on YouTube or something like that. And the people that are going there, they pretty much know what my political views are. So I'm not going to shock anybody. But we'll see. I've been saying this for a long time. I don't mind doing more. I just got to A, figure out the time when I can do it, and B, figure out what I can give you guys that I'm not already giving you. No Fear says he's got cars on his page. Hey, if you'll put up a link for your page, are you talking about your YouTube page? I'm gonna go check it out if you got some stuff on there. My brother had a Vega, uncle had a Pacer, some oddball cars for sure. My aunt, another aunt, not the one that I was asking for prayers for, but another aunt had a kind of a plum colored AMC Gremlin, which in a lot of articles and a lot of surveys is voted the ugliest car of all times. And that's saying something. That means it's uglier than the Yugo. But she loved that car. She drove the crap out of it for a while. My Mustang 2 was white with blue, had T-tops and the big hood on the snake. Oh, snake on the hood. Wow. Man, I would love to have that car now. I ain't even going to lie. All right, No Fear. After I go off there, I'm going to check out your channel. What kind of cars you got on there? Well, he put the link here. If anybody wants to see No Fear's cars, check them out, preferably after the show. But if you got to go now, I get it. Wesley says he's in Allentown, pick up his load tomorrow, heading towards Fredericksburg, Virginia. All righty. A lot of y'all seem to be going to the Northeast right now. Let me give you guys a minute to type, see what y'all want to talk about. I had a Gremlin X. It didn't have a starter. I had to roll start it everywhere I went. Oh man, I bet that was fun. I had a Ford Pinto, a 75 Ford Pinto, for a couple of years, and only paid $400 for the car, and it was a great car. I agree with No Fear. I'm trying my best to stay out of the Northeast. I don't have any desire to go up there. Yeah, we had somebody earlier that said they were also in Arkansas tonight. I believe it was Ted. So that's not bad. I'm in the greater Dallas area, delivering at Cleburne in the morning, and then I'm picking up in Grand Prairie and going to Amarillo. Yeah, push starting is a lost start. Well, heck, a car with a manual transmission's a lost start. You can't, there's a lot of cars you can't even buy with a manual transmission anymore. Got a load of drywall going to Oklahoma City. Man, I bet that's I bet that's difficult to tarp and to keep from getting wet and to keep from cracking because that drywall is just so fragile. But I may be wrong. Like I said, I don't know much about flatbed. I'm just going off well, the way I would think it would be. Oh, that's hilarious. Midlife says he's an effing ham, not effing bacon, effing ham. Hmm. Oh, Bob and Tom used to do a joke about that. Uh, Where's my bucking hat? It's under my Buccaneers, referring to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Corey Oatley having a good laugh. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I want to say it was like 116 where I was at yesterday, or 110, something crazy. And even now, I'm in Texas. It's my gauge says 100. I don't think it's quite 100. I think it's probably 94, 95. But you know how your truck will heat up when you're sitting because the little sensors on the mirror and the heat from the engine will make it think it's hotter than it is. First car was an Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, 1982, black. And I lower that baby. Now I have a Nissan GTR. Oh, that's a car right there. If you and I ever meet, we need to go for a ride in that GTR. My mom, when I was like a real little kid, she had like I think it was a 75 Oldsmobile Cutlass. And we almost got run over by a train because we stopped and was singing row, row, row your boat. And there was a train coming and the car stalled out. And so I love that car though. It sounds ugly. It was kind of like an orange, a burnt orange and white, but it was a good car. There's no telling what it would be worth now. Wesley says 80 in Pennsylvania. There you go. That's an expensive road to be on. I found that out last time I went there. Definitely, Todd. Yeah, I would love. I've never been in a GTR. I would love to go for a ride in that. You are a lucky man, but you deserve it. I know you work hard. Don't go to Florida because of the hurricane. Yeah, it's bad over there right now. So I'm delivering in the morning, and I mean early, like 6 in the morning, and then I'm picking up in Grand Prairie at like 1 o'clock, and then got to deliver in Amarillo the next morning at I think 8 o'clock. So after Amarillo, I've got to go to Lubbock for a doctor's appointment on Friday. And honestly, even if I went straight to Florida from Dallas, I mean from Lubbock after the doctor's appointment, the hurricane would be long gone by the time I got there. So, but you never know. Generally, when there's a hurricane like that, there's a lot of water loads and stuff right after the hurricane, and they usually pay pretty good. So I might find myself in those parts post hurricane, but just too soon to tell. I hadn't even started looking. Right now I'm just focusing on making as much as I can before the doctor's appointment. I heard that a certain president almost lost a Corvette and a cat in a kitchen fire. I heard he had a Corvette. I've never seen it though. I wonder if it's a C3 like mine, same body style as mine, or what body style Corvette he has. I'm gonna have to Google that. Do that right now while y'all are typing more comments. Oh no, he's got a C2. I believe that's a C2. Yep, it is a C2. Has brown leather and a 4-speed like mine. His is a 67. According to Google, it's a 67. But a 69 would look, I'm not sure. I think a 69 would be a C3. Yeah, his isn't a split window if we're talking about the same president because his is a convertible. But it's a, he had it, of course, I don't know if those split windows tops come off or not. I don't know a lot about the C2s to be quite honest. Maybe y'all can educate me. Yeah, it's a 67 convertible. You are correct. Again, not my favorite president, but if I had the chance to go for a ride in that car, I would definitely take it. Did you know, and I learned this recently, when you become president, there's certain things you can never ever do again. And one of them is drive. Even when he gets out of office, he's not allowed to drive a car again, which at his age, he probably don't need to be driving. Heck, he has a hard enough time completing a sentence. But still, I think about like George W. Bush and having those pickups and the ranch and everything. I would think that he would want to drive his pickup out on the ranch, and it'd be hard to believe Secret Service could tell him, "Yeah, you can't drive, Mr. Bush, ever." And to me, that'd be something. I enjoy driving. That would be something I'd hate to give up. Yes, driving. I mean, they could ride in the pickup with him. Secret Service could follow him, whatever. But if he wakes up one morning and goes, I think I'm gonna go check on the horses, and Secret Service takes the keys away from him. No, sir, you can't drive. Or what if you're fairly young in the way of presidents? What if you're Obama and you mean Obama can't drive if they let him ride bicycles? Of course, that doesn't look like fun because they got Secret Service surrounding them. But I'd be like, if I can ride a bicycle, I can drive a car. No fear says true. Pablo's laughing, except for George W., who drives every day. Does he? Because they say that they're not allowed to drive anymore. He can barely walk. Yeah, we're talking about the current president. He trips going upstairs. Now, I get it going downstairs. I've fallen going downstairs before, but he tripped twice going up the same flight of stairs to an airplane. That's when Secret Service needs to help. Grab him by the arm, say, "Here, Mr. President, let us help you." Maybe that's what they mean. They can't drive on public roads anymore, but I kind of get it on public roads. But I mean, he's got all that land. If he wants to drive on his personal property, go out, check on the horses, something like that, I think he should be able to. They don't even ride with Bush. The ranch is secure. Bush drives all over the ranch by himself. Well, that's probably the closest thing to freedom that he has these days. I I think about that too. Is I read his book. My uncle that was here earlier one Christmas got me his audio book, Decision Points. and he talks about all the decisions he made in office and why he made them. And I didn't agree with everything he said in that book, but I at least understood why he made the decisions he did. And I do think, for the most part, he's a pretty good guy. I think September 11th kind of messed up his plans and what he would have liked to have accomplished. And I think he'd be a cool guy to hang out with. Um, but I don't know that we would agree on everything politically, but I think he'd be a fun guy to hang out with. On the contrary, though, I don't think Al Gore would be fun to hang out with. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think Hillary Clinton would be fun to hang out with. I think Obama would be fun to hang out with. And I'd probably like him as long as we didn't talk politics. All righty, we're 2 hours and 11 minutes. Things are kind of slowing down. If y'all got anything else, go ahead and throw it up there and we'll talk about it. And if not, we'll go ahead and wrap this video up and call it a night. Appreciate everybody being here. If you missed part of the show and you get a chance, please go back and check out the replay. It'll be up shortly. Make sure you're subscribed. Give me a thumbs up. Share this video, all those good things. Also, if you look in the ticker, my website's there, the email's there. John Toohey's email's there. If you got any questions about GP Transco, anything like that, check it out. And so yeah, I just want to remind you guys, I know y'all hate it and I hate it when YouTubers do it, but it's part of the gig, what we got to talk about. That was a good book, not my favorite administration, but like you thought, it was a real good look in how he thinks. Yeah, and I read Clinton's book too. I don't have to agree with everything the author says, but sometimes you kind of get a perspective of their life and why they thought the way they did. And so I enjoyed the book. I really did. And I appreciated my uncle giving me that as a Christmas gift one year. Obama invited those two that had a fight to the White House to have a beer. Oh, that's cool. Carter used to fly coach on airplanes. The Secret Service tricked him by buying as many of the seats and just putting Secret Service secretaries and clerks in the seat. Yeah, and at some point, if I remember correctly, he ended up being forced to get an Air Force One, and he had them do it a lot cheaper, trying to save money. Carter did try to cut costs where he could. All right, Skyline, have a good night. I think we're circling the drain, getting ready to close down anyway. But I appreciate you coming in tonight, my friend. Bitcoin John says, yo, hey, thanks for being here, Bitcoin. You're near the end. We're getting ready to wrap it up, but I appreciate you coming in, and I hope you'll consider checking out the replay. Hit the thumbs up button, guys. Yeah, please do. Also, check out Skyline and his YouTube channel. He hasn't put anything out lately that I've saw, but hopefully he'll have another video coming soon. Could you imagine the Biden book? It's going to be a #1 bestseller. I'm going to buy it just to try to see if I can decipher it. You remember, like, when we were kids and you'd buy like a box of cereal and it'd have the decoder ring inside? They're going to have to sell Biden's book with a decoder ring, and you're going to have to try to figure out what each sentence is and what he's trying to say. It's going to be hilarious. I'm definitely getting that book. Stay safe and have a good evening. Thank you, Just Stoking. I appreciate you hanging with me tonight. And I enjoyed introducing y'all to my friend John Toohey. we're possibly going to have the insurance guy on next Tuesday. We'll see how he does this week, if he can make it over all the hurdles. Thank y'all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. We'll catch you on the next one. Y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.